I'm sorry. Kind of doing, then I'll get my mojo going here today.
That's okay. That's how this goes. We got to get all the tech stuff out of the way first.
Yeah, we have 1 minute. So we're right on the money here today.
Boop, boop, doop, boo. All right.
I think we're good.
Saying we are now streaming on Facebook. There we are.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to the Cosmic Oracle Show. We're going to go live in like 1 minute. And we have Michele Amburgey here with us today. We are going to have so much fun. You're going to learn so much. We're going to talk about angels. And I haven't talked about angels a lot on this show. So we happen to have Michele, who has a, for sure, relationship with the angels, and she's going to be telling us all about that today. So I'm excited.
So cool.
So let's get on to, let me go here. There we are. And then, so we're going to go live now, everybody, on to Revolution Radio. So here we go. So be so right
exciting.
Majority in the case of purely internal affairs, be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, this is a flesh wound. I don't believe I am. It's such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity. I'll do you for that. Or what? Julia, what are you going to do? Bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a lunatic. That's nice. Always come. Roundtable Live, Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind. Ideas. Bring your King Arthur had nothing on that. Yeah, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our land, but they'll never take our freedom? Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain. As free men, it is our right to live unencumbered. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And if the chains are tighter, our ability to put those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Action is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more. This is Nighthawk, and I say, for myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is a single way. Barbara Jean Lindsey is an internationally acclaimed psychic, spiritual healer, author, and founder of the online mystery school at Esoteric University. As the Cosmic Oracle, she is a conduit to the powers that be to answer your questions about your future self, past lives, current career, love. She shines light into the darkness to illuminate what was, what may be, and beyond. The readings and advice given by Barbara Jean Lindsey are for entertainment purposes only. Should not take the place of any medical, legal, or financial advice given to you by a qualified professional and are not a substitute for medical, legal, or financial advice. If you need a doctor, call a doctor. To be expanded, call the Cosmic.
Welcome, everyone, to the Cosmic Oracle Show. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and it is Friday, April 16th, and it is beautiful. We've been out today. I dedicate my show today to my best friend here, sitting with me, Jan Newell, who we won't tell her age, but it's a happy birthday. So everyone say happy birthday to Jan.
Yay, happy birthday.
Thanks.
She's been on the show before, and so she's hanging out in the neighborhood. We were having a wonderful birthday week. We're going to Two Bunch Palms later tomorrow, and Two Bunch Palms right outside of Rancho Mirage, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, out that way.
Go to Joshua Tree.
Oh, but the main thing we're going to, you tell them, Dan.
Joshua Tree, and there's
Yes.
a vortex out there that is a secret, and only she knows where it is. I went one time before, I couldn't find it my own self. So tomorrow is the day.
Tomorrow's the day. So yeah, we've been going there for about 15 years working with women empowerment. And our guest that we have coming on, and I'll be introducing to you in just a moment, has worked a lot with empowering women as part of her work as well. So I'm really excited to have her come on. Thanks, Jan.
You're welcome, and I'm looking forward to hearing this talk about angels.
Ooh, okay. And so we want to thank you for giving generously to Revolution Radio to keep us on the station. We are an all volunteer station, meaning no one gets paid anything, and to keep over 80 shows running it up and going. So the way you can keep us going is to donate. And the way you donate is you go to freedomslips.com. That's freedomslips.com, and hit that donate button. A Patreon, become a Patreon for like $5.99 a month, less than a movie ticket. Hey, we just started to go back to movies again, though, so that's really good. So thank you for your generous donations in advance. And want to thank you for my work, too, for supporting my work. And you can find me on Amazon. All 3 of my books are up there. And I just had a reading again from another client that we got on the air. And so hopefully we'll get some for Michele too today, because she also is a professional psychic. So without further ado, let's give you a little background before I bring her on. Michele Amburgey, and how I met her. We'll talk about that. I met her through a friend of mine that I just love and adore, and we will be having him on our show too if he agrees to it. But let me tell you a little bit about Michele Amburgey. She has been working as a professional spiritual guide since 2002. She is a certified psychic medium, an angelic channel, a master energy healer, a metaphysical therapist, certified hypnotherapist, past life regression therapist, and a conscious living coach. Michele has been a clairvoyant and clairaudient since childhood, and she had invisible friends, which I think we might start off with that, throughout her younger years. And as she got older, she began to hide her gifts, as so many people with gifts do. But after a traumatic event in her early 30s, her gifts began to open up again, and Michele began her quest for truth and divine connection. Michele's journey took her into the holistic healing realm, where she has mastered 22 healing modalities. The healing training also offered her opportunities to study the intuitive and healing arts, shamanism, spirituality, conscious living, and ancient mystery school teaching. And Michele is a true mystic. Michele was raised in the entertainment industry, where she was influenced by some of the most creative people in music and film. And although her path was not in mainstream entertainment, she has had her own radio show, Love Light Radio. We'll ask her about that. And she's authored 4 books and is now a regular on Awakener TV. So welcome to the show, Michele. I could go on and on and on. And with your accolades of what you've accomplished so far in your life. So welcome to the show, Michele Amburgey.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I am so honored to be here, Barbara. This is, when you asked me to do this, I was like, no way. It's so cool, and thank you. You know, it's funny when I hear people read my bio, I'm always like, wow, who is this person? You know, because it's like, I got on that spirituality train, and I was going to learn every single thing that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And now looking back, it's like, holy moly, overkill.
Yeah, but you keep opening up and you want to learn more. And so you're probably one of those beings that you'll probably be learning till your last breath, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Matter of fact, a few years ago, I decided that I wanted to move into doing voice acting. So
Hmm.
I took a little detour and, still doing my spiritual work, of course, but decided I was going to do voice acting. So in 2017, I became a professional voice actor as well. And so I was like,
Oh,
what the heck? Let's learn something new. And so
right. That sounds like fun. That sounds
it's
like
super
fun.
fun. It's
Ah.
super fun. Yeah.
Well, let's start off with it with you're getting into this. It's like, it's not like you say, hey, when they ask you at school, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. No, I think I'm going to be a spiritual counselor.
That
So
was not on the list when I was in high school. It might be now. You never know.
it might be now. It might be now. And like during the time when you had your visitors, was it in your room, or how were you first contacted as a child?
As a child, ooh, I've got some good stuff. I don't remember first the first time anything happened because it was such a natural state to have angels there, to have people dressed in all kinds of costumes that I could see through. I had my invisible friend. Um, and I had a white lion that lived under my bed. And when
What?
I would get ready to get into bed, his paw would come out.
What? I
And
want
so
one of those. I
it
bet
was
both
so
our
cool.
listeners want one of those. Wow.
Cool, but as a kid, it was a little bit scary. So I would, of course, kind of leap into bed. And you know what, Jean, to this day, I still leap into bed. I take that little extra skippity hop to get into bed.
Wow. So does he still come to your bed? Does he?
No, no.
Oh
When
man.
we moved out of that home, I was about 4 or 5 years old. We moved out of that home. And so he didn't come with.
Oh
So
man.
he might have served his purpose. I
Right.
never was scared of him. It was just that paw coming out. It was like,
Right.
and it was
Right.
huge, for a little kid. It was like looked like it was gigantic.
Right. Do you have anything with Sekhmet? Anything with her, the lioness?
You
Thinking
know
if
what?
you have that lion being as a
No,
protector.
but one of my guides is a cheetah that came to me. So the cat realms, definitely, I
Oh,
definitely, and I'm a cat person too. So I've always had
okay.
cats. So maybe not necessarily Sekhmet, but I definitely have a connection with the feline species.
Fantastic. Well, my friend just set me up here. So, for those
Awesome.
that are listening in, if you have questions for Michele, you can ask them and we can actually read them and get them to her. So that's fantastic. Let me just make sure we have it here. Let me find it. There you are. Okay. Oh, maybe we can't. I don't know. All right. So, we might have to have, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Ask your question. Maybe we'll get to you. Okay.
Maybe we'll see it.
We'll write them down on the break and get them to you. But thank you everyone for tuning in. And Michele, God, to start off with a cat like that is extraordinary.
Really, really cool. And I had cats in that home too. So,
Mhm.
it was like the cat thing was always going on. But my main thing that I remember was my little friend Rebecca, and she was the one that would tell me, well, that's a ghost. That's an angel. I was able to communicate with animals as a young kid. We had a horse that lived next door and it put its neck, its face over the fence. And I
Mhm.
would just sit there and just talk to the horse. My mom would be like, what are you doing? You're talking to the horse. I don't hear you talking. No, we're talking. We're talking. Be like, okay. I was a weird kid.
Yeah, but you probably thought everyone did that, right? Until you
I
found
did.
otherwise.
I did. I
Mhm.
didn't realize, I think, until I went to school that I really started. But that house that I was living at, it was in Santa Cruz, so do 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 do.
Oh,
But
we're in Santa Cruz.
it was actually Scotts Valley
I
up
know,
on the hill there.
I know exactly where that
Is
is.
that your place?
Well, my
El
my
Camino
daughter lives.
Pequeña.
We had I had a healing center in Santa Cruz for 8 years, right by the mystery spot.
Oh,
Across the
yeah.
hill. Yeah.
Very cool. That is a magical place. And it was funny. This house that I lived in was 1111 El Camino Pequeña. So it was like little, I think it's Little Street, but 1111. So we were already operating on the 1111 energy
That cracks me up.
as a
And
child.
that's not a coincidence, right?
Mm-mm.
Uh,
It's funny because I just realized it maybe about a month ago, because I was going through some old pictures. I got a cousin of mine that's writing a book, and he's in the music industry,
mhm.
and he was like, I'm looking for pictures from when I was a kid. And so I found that address. I was like, oh wow. Because at that address too, I had an abduction experience as well.
Well, let's hear about that because,
Yes. It
um,
was
that's what we're all about here.
woo,
You're at the right place to
it
feel
was
safe, and you probably worked it through though, right? That's part of that gets you on your path because you want the answers to what just happened to me.
what was that? Yeah.
Right.
And it was neat, and it was very loving, it was very gentle, it was very benevolent. And I remember coming out the front door, and when you come out the front door, you had to turn, and just seeing a big ball of light. And in the ball of light, I saw humanoid figures. They were kind of bluish silver, and
Mhm.
one of them went like this. And I just went with them, and I just walked into the light. And all I remember is just being covered with that light, just gentle.
Mhm.
I do remember flying around. I don't remember really anything other than that. And then when I came home, I was walking down the pathway back to the house, and I remember just feeling just like really just calm.
Mhm. At
But I
peace.
tripped a little bit, and I scraped myself on the rose bushes. And I went in to my bedroom, and I got in bed, and I looked up, and there was a skunk. The skunk, I think it's called Flower from Walt Disney, from the
Oh
Bambi,
yeah.
was
Yeah.
like a big giant flower was on my closet door. And then I just remember just kind of collapsing on myself, just kind of almost like fainting.
Mhm.
And when I got up the next morning, my mom was like, "Where did you get these scratches? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." She was kind of, so I didn't say anything. And it wasn't until years later when I read the book Contact by Carl Sagan, I think it was,
Okay.
that he said that it was really, really common when children were abducted for there to be a cartoon figure or something from a cartoon that is showed to them to give him almost like an impulse of, you're safe, everything is okay. As
Oh,
they
right.
heard
In
that.
in your reality, right? So what's
Exactly.
friend there? So yeah, and so that's so you don't totally lose it, right? They want to keep you okay. How old were you when you had this experience?
About four. ab-
Wow.
About four. So I was pretty young.
Yeah.
And I've had other interactions with my star family, but that was the first one.
Mhm.
And it was so loving. I've never really had a fear of all of that or anything. And I've had a couple of interactions where I've had to tell them no.
Right.
No,
Well,
no,
you have
no,
the
we're not
right
gonna.
to do that.
Yeah, yeah. But it's pretty cool. That house is really magical.
Wow. Yeah, I know that area really well. So with that, with the smell, sometimes for me, it's tells me that Sasquatch is in the area. Do you have anything with Sasquatch yet, or any kind of an inkling towards that at all?
I love him. I've I've never had an interaction, but I know they exist. My family, the men in the family are all big hunters. And then
Mhm,
when I got married, him and his family were all hunters. So I
mhm.
spent time out in the woods. And being from Santa Cruz, a lot of time out in the redwoods and everything. I love the woods.
I do
And I
too.
know there's been several times when I've been out there, and it's like someone else is here. I didn't smell, I didn't hear, I didn't see, but I knew someone was there. I knew it wasn't a human. And when I learned, I don't know, maybe in my late teens, early 20s, when I learned about this Sasquatch thing, I was like, oh, of course that's who it was. Of
Mhm,
course. Of course. I just knew it. So
mhm.
already, like, I had that connection with that realm as well. And
Right.
I've watched some of the videos and some of the stuff, and some of them I can say, that is not him, but that is, or her. It's like I could tell, like, just intuitively.
Right.
And so, yeah, I love. Ooh,
Oh, I thought maybe you would. You'll have to come to the Psychic Sasquatch family reunion at the end of May.
Yeah, well,
Fun.
our friend Kat has been telling me about it, and I think yes.
Oh, I think that would be great. I
Mm,
think that would be
I
fantastic.
love that. I
Ah,
love that.
that's a great idea. Okay, I think we have to make that happen. So
Okay.
Kat, if you're watching, which I think he might be, we're going to do this, okay? So that'll be great. Well, and so when you started off then as a child and you weren't afraid, but yet when did your psychic abilities start to happen? Do you think there was a coalition with that, or did you put that together later? Or
You know what? I always had them. They
Mhm.
just have always been a part of me. What I did was when I was in 5th grade, we had moved, my father was moving up in the music industry, and so we moved around a lot.
Mhm.
And so, we were in Santa Cruz, and we moved to San Francisco and Chicago and New York. And so when we came back to California, I was in just getting into 5th grade. I was the new kid in school, right? So I was kind of used to that.
Yep.
And I was out on the playground, and all the kids had gone in, and all of a sudden I kind of went, oh no, I guess I got to go in. And I saw 3 angels fly across the sky, and I was so excited. So I ran into the classroom, and I ran up to the teacher, and I went, oh, I just saw 3 angels out on the playground. And there's dead silence, and the whole room erupted into
Oh,
laughter. And
oh,
my teacher said, you need to go to the principal's office. And they called my mother, and I had to have a psychiatric evaluation before I could come back to school.
no.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
that's like intense. That's a slap down, you
Big
know?
slap down.
Oh,
You know
see,
what the
that
thing?
always tells you got something you're bringing then.
Yeah, exactly. And it was cool because my mom was super cool about it.
Oh, that's good.
And the doctor even said, well, there may be some psychotic tendencies here. So a little lithium, just give her a little lithium. She'll be fine. My mom was like, no way.
Oh, thank God.
No. And she was
Uh,
just like, we just keep that quiet. We do not really talk
just
about that.
right. So you learned how to shut it off. Did you keep it, but you were able to keep it, but not in a public way, or did you just totally shut it down?
I shut it down pretty much.
Mhm.
And, I started getting interested in boys, and they were fascinating creatures. And so that, that took my attention for a
Right,
while. And it
right.
wasn't until after I had married, had kids, and was going through a divorce. And I
Ah,
think the trauma of that, it just came blazing back. And
mhm,
that's really when and that was in my early 30s. And
mm.
that's really when I said, I need to figure this stuff out.
Right, right.
So
So what's the first thing you did? So if someone who's listening in and they're in a place where they're just starting to look for, I think I want to find out what this truth is or what this is all about, what this psychic abilities are about, and where would you say it's a good start?
a good start is to learn energy healing, because you learn about energy, you learn about the chakras, you learn about frequencies, you learn about the things that are involved with what it is to be psychic. Because you can have psychic abilities, but if your energy fields aren't balanced and you're not balanced, you need to understand energy.
Mhm,
And part of the reason that I was able to really move very powerfully into this rapidly is I was learning pranic healing and Reiki at the same time.
mhm,
And the pranic healing group that I was with were very much into developing the psychic stuff, or the clairvoyance, really, more than anything. And
mhm,
so I was able to have pranic healing, which is kind of male, Reiki, which is very feminine, and
mhm,
then have teachers within those realms that were learning about developing the clairvoyance.
mhm.
I was already, my clairaudience was really open then. And I just have that intuition. I'm one of those ones that I know what I know, and I know that I know it.
Right, right. So it
Right.
comes from a knowingness or a connection to
Yeah.
the divine, or for you, it's the angelic realm.
Yep.
Would that be correct? Or
Yep. And the angels were really who stepped in first to really be guides. When I was doing the Reiki training, I had taken my Reiki level 2, and we had, you do the little Reiki circle afterwards. Everybody had their hands on me. And all of a sudden, this psychic vision came into me, and I was flying through this tube, and these huge chains were like shattering off of me, and I could hear them like crack, crack. And my body is like all shaking. And I get to the end of this, and I just kind of like shot out the end of like, "Ba-da!" and there's a huge blue angel there, huge. And she just looks at me and she said, I am you.
Oh.
And of course, my first thought is, right.
I find that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever. But the angels were pretty hot on it after that. And I struggled like so many people do. It's like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Why would an angel come to me? Why would I bother, angels with my piddly little problems, and they just were very persistent. And something that happened that really got me paying attention is I was watching John Edwards and the medium John Edwards, and I was sitting on the edge of the couch and I heard a voice say, go do that. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to talk to dead people. And something pushed me off the couch, slid my butt off the couch and said, go do that. And so it come to find out I'm a natural medium as well. And so being able to communicate through the veils in that way too. And I always work with the angels in doing that. So we keep everything like on a real high frequency. And it's kind of fun because working with the angels, I have the angels work with those on the other side too. So there's an angelic connection for them as well, which is kind of cool. So that's how I got to all that stuff. Are you trying to hide her?
I was trying to. My friend is you. Everyone's seeing you do your exercises, Jan.
You silly monkey.
If you don't mind, it's okay. They'll see you do them though. But if you, I'm trying to manage it. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, that was so cute. I'm like, what is happening here? Am I getting dizzy? Is Sasquatch close by?
I'm sorry. It goes all the way back through to the.
Oh, that was so cute.
Wow. So there we have our that was for you, Michelle.
It was cosmic yoga, man.
Yes, exactly. That's for all of our listeners out there, all of our spirit. Facebook, that's for you. Okay. We aim to please here.
Cover all the bases in one
Right,
show.
all the bases. Exactly. Wow.
That's amazing. Oh, we got Jillian on. Jillian from Third Eye Salon.
I can't, I don't see it on here, so I'll do it on the break. But if you have any questions, Michelle, we'll have you look at them because I certainly cannot do that here. So,
and I think mine is coming across probably from, because I shared it out over to Soulful Living.
There it is. Okay.
Oh, we do have one question here, which is kind of fun.
All right, that's good.
How would you explain 5D and the new Earth? The conversation came up today with my 13-year-old daughter, and she was telling me, that the kids are talking about shifting. I want to answer that.
Of course.
Because I woke up in the middle of the night about 2 weeks ago, because this is how the angels work with me. And I'm going to read this. I'm getting it off of my phone since we're like totally freewheeling it here.
We are.
I love it.
Get a lot of good work done though. See,
I love it. This is so cool. This is how it goes. This is spirituality. It's winging it like with a purpose.
Well, and it's a kind of the new, if we're talking about 5G, it's kind of the new way where instead of being everything tight and controlled is where we're stepping into a place where it's about trust.
Yep. It's about being in that flow. So check this out. This is what was downloaded to me about what 5D is all about. It says 5D is a frequency field of morphogenic creative energy that is shaped and molded by those who match that frequency. So again, 5D is a frequency field of morphogenic creative energy that is shaped and molded by those who match that frequency.
And then once you match that frequency, that's where it all happens.
You begin creating in that field.
Right.
And that's the new Earth. So Sarah Baez, who asked that question, great question.
That's a great question. I love that.
And it is because Yeah, and we know that we're creating new earth energies. Those of us that are here for that, because I know that's one of my thing is I
Mhm,
come in with a kind of a title that was recently given to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that as
mhm,
the Awakener, a
mhm,
new earth visionary. I'm an Araku. I'm a leader for the new earth leaders, and
mhm.
so it's understanding what that 5D is. A lot of people think it's a place. Oh, we're going to go there. It's like no, no, no. It's a frequency, and we match that frequency. Then we begin creating whatever that is we're creating there.
Right, the
The
new
new,
weird order is what I call it.
the new weird order, right
Yes,
on. We're unicorns and
yes,
dragons and mermaids.
right.
That's what
Whatever
I'm going
we
to
want to
create.
create, whatever we get to create, this is a garden again, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was talking on the phone last night with a new friend of mine, Michele, and she's the one who led the largest meditation group meditation in history.
Yes,
Right? Do you know who she is?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Oh my
And so
gosh.
she's back on track. We're creating something new. She is. And we talked about 5G last night. And I hadn't talked with anyone about it before. So I think it's really exciting that that's our question and that that's a perfect answer. It's an amazing answer for people who are asking about that. So thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what we do. It is all about frequency. And I know that sounds so airy fairy, doesn't it? So like, but there
It's
is a science to that as well.
Yep. And we have to understand it. And that's what Einstein talked about and Tesla talked about.
Mhm,
It's all frequency. And we begin to understand and operate in that. Even our bodies are frequency, even though, this looks dense, this
mhm.
looks, solid, it's still energy. It
Right.
still has frequency. It's just a very slow moving frequency,
And
but
water, we're so much water.
and there is so much water in there,
Mhm.
and it's awesome because water holds and emits frequencies very powerfully,
Right.
right?
And emotions.
And all that yummy stuff that creates those frequencies.
Well, let's hear about, I'm going to kind of bring it down. And I do want to talk about you being your teacher of the new Earth leaders.
The
Uh, but
Araku.
but before we get there, let's start back where when you're learning your 22 healing modalities. So I love to people ask, what should I study? How, and so what's your answer to that when people say, hey, I'm really want to do something, I'm not sure what it is, which direction I should go.
I always say start with Reiki.
Hmm.
Reiki is a great foundation. It's anchored in ancient technology, ancient, teachings, and learning, the traditional. I think it's Usui Reiki,
Hmm.
and start with that. Get a foundation. Get a foundation that is going to support you energetically, because when you start opening up psychically, when you start opening all the stuff up, it is rough on your nervous system,
Oh
and
yeah.
if you don't know how to operate your energy, people get really, really burned out. And you can see evidence of that in kind of like older psychics. If you look back to like Madame Blavatsky and the I do too, but look at how fried they look. They look like they're like haggard, like holy crap. And
They prepared the way for us,
they
right?
did, and oh,
Yes. Oh
but
yeah.
I think they just fried their systems. And
Mhm.
I've looked at it and I really paid attention to it. And I even got to a point where I was doing so much work that I even ended up starting to get sick too. And it
Mhm.
was nervous system stuff.
Yeah.
It was exhaustion. It was not being able to focus. And finally I backed off a little bit. And I had a teacher so good. She's like, Michele, you need to chill and you need to drink water.
Mhm.
Because if you're using your nervous system with all of the psychic and energy work, you need to stay hydrated. Because if you don't, it's like boiling a pot dry on the stove, right?
Right. Right.
And then the pot starts getting all mangled. And so those were things that were told to me that were really, really important that I have stuck to. And I teach my clients, my students, anybody that'll listen to me, always stay hydrated too. But learn about energy, learn about frequencies, learn about your chakras. And also when you're starting to learn your clair senses, your psychic stuff, develop all of them. Don't just try to be clairvoyant. Everybody thinks if you're clairvoyant, clairseeing, that, oh, the movie, opens before you. And that is not how it works for most people. Very few people. I've been doing this for 20 years. I do it professionally. I've given probably by now maybe hundreds of thousands of readings, but how I get my message, and I'm going to do this into the camera, is I get my messages in bloop, 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 little flashes, little words, purple. I'll see a little bicycle, purple, and they'll see like little girl curly hair. And I've learned and studied to be able to understand the language of my particular way of being psychic. And I've done that through meditation. I've done that through taking some spiritual development classes, a lot through Reiki, because most of the time people that are doing Reiki or energy healing, this is a natural opening that happens too. And so really paying attention to all the different bits and pieces that are there, because it's people that are kind of have the natural gift already. That's awesome. But it still is really, really important to develop the whole thing, because you're going to stay healthier, but you're going to be happier. You're going to be able to use everything. Sometimes I'm not getting stuff coming in to the third eye, but I got the yakking going on. And also, for people to understand, clairaudience a lot of times isn't necessarily a voice outside you speaking to you. A lot of times you hear it in the back of the head. Right. And so that's another thing to be mindful of. Don't think that the psychic senses are always what people tell you. Like clairvoyance isn't always being able to see ghosts or see angels. It's an inner experience most of the time.
Right, exactly. And it's like, if you want to see the world, close your eyes.
Beautiful.
That's where it's all happening, right? It really is. And when you turn down those, you close your eyes, and it turns down those senses. And so then you go up in those upper senses that you get to work with them. Do you have angels that you work with? Like you say, hey, angel buddy, pal, I don't know what your angel's name is.
Hey, dude.
With total respect, I say that, okay? And like, come help me.
Do
like
this, garçon.
Yeah, like, right. Exactly.
Oh, that wouldn't go good.
No.
I work really closely with Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron. And it's funny because he's cracking up right now. He's like, he goes, if you go this, I'm out.
Yeah, I know. They would. I would think that. And then they probably, they would never come back again. That would be such a loss, So, yeah. So angels, why do you think it's angels compared to, do you have other spirit guides as well, right?
I do.
Like, what are some of your favorite ones that you like to work with?
Well, when I first started all this stuff, I had that blue angel come in and they finally convinced me that they really did want to work with me. So it was angels, and it was always Archangel Michael. And what's funny is when I was young and when I was growing up, I was in the Mormon church. I kind of went to Catholic church with people. I went to a Seder with my Jewish friends. We went to the Buddhist temple, and I never even thought about angels. And so when they popped in, it was like, okay, well, I know what you guys are. I've heard of you, but I didn't really have any desire to have anything to do with them. And so they came in, but it was always Archangel Michael. And he carries that massive blue energy for me. He's very protective. And he says he likes working with me. He says, you're intelligent and you let me swear when I need to. And he likes that, because what he explained to me is, when they're working with us, and this is really any guide, when they're working with us, for us to be able to take the messages and turn them into, words,
right.
they pull from what we have within us, right?
Our filter.
Right. And they can bring in things, but for basic doing psychic stuff, they're using what we have in our head. So the more well-read, the more intelligent, that kind of stuff. And I know that's not saying you have to be, but he's saying it's much easier to work with people like that, because there's more to pull from to be able to get the messages across and get the ideas across. And he's saying right now, use words to create a picture, right? And so someone who's intelligent, well-read, all that kind of stuff. Now, I never thought I was all that intelligent and well-read. So I was like, well, maybe I like that. Maybe he was using flattery. I don't know. But it was interesting because they were saying that was one of the things that made it much easier for them to do their work. And then I also work with Metatron, and Metatron
Mhm.
is very much, he's the one, not a lot of verbal communication, but he holds the space. And
Yeah.
he helps me hold spaces because I hold really big, strong, energetic spaces.
Sacred space.
Yeah, it's something I do naturally, and I never knew I did it until somebody told me I did. And then
Yeah, you
even
came in with
now,
it. You came in with
yeah,
it,
and
right?
you do too.
Yeah,
You
we
hold
both do.
beautiful space.
We both do.
Yeah,
Because we wear blue.
it is. It's the blue. It's the blue, baby. It's the Archangel Michael
It's
blue.
the Archangel Michael Blue Club. Okay. It's a private thing though. No.
It's funny. Archangel Michael just like this. He goes, I have a list. I got the list ready. And he's hilarious. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing. He said he really likes working with me because I'm silly, I'm funny, I don't take any of it too seriously.
Right.
And he's saying that keeps the vibration up, keeps frequency up, and
Yeah.
it makes it a joyous thing and not a kind of scary thing. Because I've had people come to me terrified. They know they need to get a
Sure.
read, but they're like, oh, I'm so nervous, I'm so scared. And then
Right.
he'll start popping off with jokes, and they're like cracking up by the time, you know, we're
Right.
5 minutes in. But it's they like to work with people that will let them flow through them in ways differently than what you would originally think.
Right. And then you can always, blame it on them.
Well,
That's what
I've done it.
exactly. Hey, I'm just a messenger. Okay. I'm just a messenger.
But I've also been told, if you do not give them the messages we ask you to give, we
yeah.
won't be able to work with you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so I've had to deliver some messages that
aren't easy.
that made me cry.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just had to do one today, and it's a little tender in there. But yeah, they want people who are willing to cooperate. And they're also, they want to work with people that are willing to learn. The biggest thing that people get stuck on is I'm not worthy.
Yeah. So how's the best way to get past that?
Practice. Because I really feel like find yourself a good spiritual development class, where you can practice with other people, start building up your your repertoire of things that will convince you. If you have people and you're giving little readings to your friends and they're good readings, and if you're doing maybe some automatic channeling or even automatic writing, and you start seeing the patterns and you start saying, oh yeah, I said that and that came true, or you give a reading to somebody and it's like, wow, you're spot on. It starts building the self-esteem.
It does. And your confidence, because you get blown away yourself. And I love it sometimes, like, I'm sure you've been there where I'm really going to say that. But it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And so you take that risk, and each time you take that risk, because it's not about you at all.
No.
It's about the message that's going to help this person.
And
So,
that's the big secret too, is it isn't about you. It isn't about the psychic, it's about the person. And a lot of times it's almost like you're facilitating a relationship between the guide angel and your person, your sitter, not necessarily, you're just the go-between. And I know a lot of times I know when I'm really on target, because I'll get done with a reading and I'll completely forget.
Oh yeah, because you're right in present time, right?
And
Or when
people
you see them on the street later and they'll come up to you and you don't remember them at all.
I can't tell you how many times that has happened. I had someone contact me, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. She goes, you remember a year ago and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm so glad. It's awesome. I'm so glad it worked out. I'm just like,
yeah.
But that's how I know that I'm in. And that's how I know that I'm not making it up, that I'm channeling it through.
Right. And there is a big difference when you're first learning
Yeah.
what's your energy and what's someone else's energy.
Yes.
And so you know that your energy feels good, right? And so
Yeah.
it's when these other energies come through, you go, oh, that's not me. And that's, you know, that's a lot like when it comes in the stinking thinking, right? Where it's like,
Right.
you're like, you know, you're so screwed up. What makes you think you can do this?
Right.
Whatever, however it comes through, right?
Right.
And then you got to be aware of it so you can change it.
Exactly.
And
And you know, I was actually doing readings with a psychiatrist who's
mhm,
doing research on psychics.
mhm,
And she was finding that people that have trauma, that have especially childhood trauma, but have trauma, that it opens up other parts of the brain. And she
right,
calls it kind of a survival thing. And she
mhm,
goes, those are the best psychics.
right, right.
So she
Well,
was
they're
doing
able to
research on that.
compartmentalize, right? Well, it's kind of like when you're pushed out of your body, you still exist. Oh, hey, that's my body, but I'm over here. How's that?
Yeah. And the brain has to figure it all out. And
Right.
so it was really, really cool when she started talking about that. And she had done a lot of research around that. And
Huh.
she's saying that it opens up other parts of the brain for people to actually be able to be psychic. And I thought, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So
Yeah.
if you are messed up, you're perfect.
You're perfect. And also I also the school I went to, we were told in a class of about 800 people, if you're either one or both of your parents are alcoholics or have a problem with alcohol, please stand up. The whole place stood up. The whole
Yep.
place stood up, you
Yep.
know?
More of that trauma. And
Yeah.
and it's so prevalent, especially in the last really 50 years. And so many people are coming in with that are psychic, like our age people, that are psychic, that are kind of coming out of the closet and they're going, yeah, I've been psychic for a long time.
Right. I'm
And a
sensitive.
lot of it is that too.
We're sensitive beings. I don't know about you, but I'm a crier, Michelle. Are you a crier?
Constantly.
It's
Constantly.
so good to see another
Oh,
crier.
I cry when I give readings. I cry when I do energy healing. I cry when I'm watching a commercial on TV.
Right,
I
right. I like
just,
that too. I'm a crier and I got such crap for it when I was a kid, you know. But later I owned it. I'm a crier and that's how I release energy from my body
yeah,
and
me,
heal my
yes. And I
so
remember being told, "Oh, you're so sensitive. Get a thicker skin. Why are you so sensitive?" Come to
right.
find out, it's my freaking superpower.
It is your superpower. It
Yeah.
is. Oh, I like that. Yeah. And so instead of saying, excuse me, you can say, when they say that to you, right? You're sensitive. You say, why, thank you.
Thank you
Right?
for noticing.
Yes. So with
I
your family,
know.
are your family all psychic? Or are you the odd one in the bunch?
Yes, they are, but nobody had really talked about it until I kind of came out and just told my mother first, well, Mom, I know I've been an accountant for a long time, but I
Mhm.
kind of took a little left turn and I'm a psychic now. And she told me about how her and her mother and her sister were used to go to psychics and had some of the ability. And my mom told me as she got a little bit older, she said, I used to see things and it used to scare me.
Mm.
And so it was kind of like, okay, so yeah. And then my biological father, not the father that raised me, but he was Native American. And so he was super psychic.
Oh yeah.
And when I met him right before he passed away, right in my mid 30s, right? So it was when all my stuff was going off. And went up and met him in Santa Cruz in Ben Lomond, which you'll
Oh,
know
good
that area.
one. Oh, the fairy. That's the fairy
Oh,
realm.
I love it. He was a magical being, but an alcoholic, like,
Oh,
whoa,
oh.
it freaked me out. So it was kind of like, oh yeah, children of alcoholics.
Mhm.
But he was really, really psychic, and we would sit there and just go back and forth, and it was really fun. Thank you. That was so nice.
Oh,
So yeah, he's in the other realm. He's up there. My mom and my father who raised me, they're all up there now. And I
Wow.
just see them being pals.
Do they ever come through for any healing work, or do they have advice, or they get in your way?
Yeah,
Or
they do.
Mhm.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They come in and a lot of times they come in as a team. And what's super cool is my two dads will come in together. And they
Oh,
were totally opposite. One was a Cancerian and one was a Capricorn. Right.
wow.
So we got the little squishy. Then my dad that raised me was Capricorn. So I've got both sides of that, which is beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, so to be a psychic, it's a tough road. Not an easy road
No,
to do.
but it's fun.
Mhm.
It's fun. And you have to really be able to care about people. And I used to say, I don't like people, but I love them.
Mhm.
And, because sometimes I'd be really like, you know, but I love them. And I think you really do have to have a desire to really help people. In order for it to be, I guess I really shouldn't put it in that box
No, I got it. I got you.
necessarily.
It's sincere, because that way
Yeah.
it's sincere, and you
Yeah.
have their best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Because I know I've had a lot of people come to me that have gotten into those groups of psychics that like, oh, drama's coming, but for $5,000, I'll do a spell and fix it and that stuff. And I'm just like, oh, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's not like what we do at all.
Not
No,
at
you do have
all.
to be careful of
Yeah.
who you go to as a psychic. That's
Yeah.
why I have you on the show here, because I know your work is real and you're the real thing. And
Thank you. I try. I tell you what, it is fun.
Yeah,
Fun.
I love it too. I really, it's not what I thought I would ever do. And I'm sure it's with you. And I think most psychics that are like that, they grew up and then the psychic kind of came to them. It's not what they were looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens sometimes. I'm always fascinated when I hear the stories of people that are like, I was just tooling down the road and all of a sudden, I became psychic. I mean, I've heard stories of people that's like, wow, I can't imagine what a mind bender that is when it just bam, just opens up or, through a series of weird events.
Well,
And
and the
it's like,
way you were acclimated as a child all the way through, and then the 30s was like fast track for
yeah,
Michele, right?
exactly.
It's like, this isn't going to kill you. It might feel like it.
I spent a lot of time being like, what? Did I hear that? Did you say that? What's going on?
So, and then because of those experiences, right? I would tell people, if you want to go to a psychic, you want to go to a psychic who's had some experience, right? That's always helpful.
Yeah, that's good. That's
You
good.
know, right? Because you can say, I've been there. I know what that's like. And
Yeah.
I can show you this, and this store, that maybe some opportunities that you might not have looked at before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I notice that a lot of psychics, they don't have the easy lives. They have lives with a lot of trials and efforts and ups and downs, but that gives us the ability to help people.
Yeah, and I like the way we started off the show, though, because it's now, because you have all these ups and downs, you become neutral to just about everything. So it's much easier then at that state to up your energy so that you are in that 5G realm
Yep.
most of the time.
Yep. And being able to keep that frequency up.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
important. It's important, because you are working through veils, you are working in multiple dimensions, and it's not always fluffy bunnies out there.
Oh, no.
Sometimes
Yeah.
there's gremlins too, and
Well, you
the
betcha.
frequency up keeps it safe for everybody as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so tell people how they can reach you. We're just about ready for our first break.
Oh my goodness.
And then after our break, then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Araku. Did I say that right?
The Araku, yeah. So
Yay!
cool how it came to me. It was so cool.
I'm excited to hear about that.
But yeah, you can find me on my website at www.micheleamburgey.com.
Okay, if you could spell that for us, please.
Michele. I'm a Michele with one L. Amburgey. micheleamburgey.com. You can also find me over on Awoken TV. They've got a Facebook page where I do lives over there. You can find me on YouTube, Michele Amburgey. I had a really smart business coach about 5, 6, 7 years ago that said, you know what, quit with all these fancy names, start marketing your name.
Mhm.
And, I was Jamatrian Light, I was Reiki Place, I was all these different things. And she's like, do your name. And I'm so glad that she did,
Mhm.
because it's really helped with the marketing and everything. So if you want to find me, Google Michele Amburgey.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm everywhere. I'm
Right.
everywhere.
And so when we get back, we'll talk about your new show, or how long have you had your show? Maybe you have had it for a while.
On Awoken?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Awoken TV. I've been doing the show over there. What happened is we switched platforms. So I had a weekly show up there. It's called The Awakener, and Awakening Messages with Awoken. And then it stopped for a little while, and we switched platforms. We went from an old platform, actually, to Vimeo. And so now we're on a new platform. So we kind of had a break, and now we're getting everything rolling again.
That sounds good. And so, and what do you do there? Do you interview people? Do you?
Right now, I bring through messages. I bring through weekly messages that are related to the energies of the time, things that are brought through from the angelic realms. It's still a little bit like I'm still allowing it to inform me what it wants to be.
Right.
On the Facebook page on Tuesdays at 4, I do spiritual chit chat with Michele, and so that's on the Facebook page. And I do a little spiritual teaching, and then I do readings. I do live readings.
Oh,
So
that's
people
so
could
fun.
get that over there too.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so they can tune in, and that's at 4 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
I got
That's
all kinds of stuff going on.
yeah. Well, you have a lot of energy. You probably had a lot of energy as a kid.
I did. I was so shy as a kid. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
I've had people that are like, no, you weren't. No, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, boom, she came out.
Well, I mean, and you think so too, with having your energy up, is that people are just naturally attracted to you.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? We have just a few minutes, but
Yeah. Well, it used to scare the heck out of me when I was a kid,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard, just like, oh, leave me alone. I'm not really sure where it's shifted, but now I understand what's going on. And I understand that that's my job.
Mhm.
That's why I'm here,
Mhm.
is to bring light to the world.
Right. Right.
And I do that in multiple ways.
Yeah. Well,
And
what
this
makes
is
you
one of them.
happy? What makes you passionate too? Because you're a very passionate woman, and so um, you can see that just by talking to you and looking at you. So you must be doing something right, Michele.
I think so. I get to be here with you. How wrong could it be?
So yeah, everyone, thank you, and stay tuned. We're just getting ready for a break, and um, it's just been a glorious day today. My best friend turning 70 and having Michele on the show, and it's gorgeous here in the summer. We made it through the winter. Sometimes I'm thinking, God, are we going to make it through the winter? And we did, and so we have spring and all this new life and new abundance and new balance coming to our world. And I always get the vision of lately of Buddha walking, and they say where he was walking, the flowers would appear under his feet. And I thought of that right before we started the show. So I don't know if that has something to do with you or something
I
that.
love that image.
Mhm,
I remember watching the movie. I think it was Siddhartha. And there
mhm.
was a part in there, and the way they filmed it, and I think it was his mother after he was born, and his mother carrying him across the field with these flowers. That it was like, oh, that's gorgeous. I love it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful you
Well,
brought
so
that up.
that's how our spring's going to be this summer, our springtime, and so I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And um, there's the break. So stay right where you are. We'll be back at 6:04, 4 minutes after the hour, and we're still on air on live, so you can mute if you need to. And we'll see you. And Araku.
Araku. Mm.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message. Be evasive, but that doesn't mean that they're telling the truth as opposed to fiction. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, and there were giants in paradise, and also after that, when the sons of God came down unto the daughters of men, then came unto the giant before them, and sons of God plural. They weren't talking about Jesus coming down. No, that's right. I'm Steve Crawford, host of Factor Theory Live. Join me every Sunday night from 10 p.m. till midnight Eastern Standard Time on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Check it out. Transcending time and space. Let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the
Love
Fenn
that.
Perspective with our great host, Lori and Fenn. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenn Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here. Galactic Interstellar Council on Revolution Radio Studio A, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us as we traverse the starseed paradigm.
I love this radio station.
Space continuum that we know as the divine expression of love and light. Integrating this conscious unity into the galactic paradigm. So welcome all, both terrestrial beings and galactic beings as one. So be it. You're listening to Revolution Radio. If you think for 1 second that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourselves. Because we know who they are and what they do. This is what they do, and we must fight back. You can torture us and bomb us. Fire is tempting. And if we burn, you burn with us. Are you awake yet? I hope. We've tried for years and years to use passive resistance and loud voices to make a change. The time is over. Your governments around the world have no other goal than to decimate your entire existence. At the hands of the bankers and the elite. The war is coming. And it's your choice to decide if you want to be a warrior or a victim. Denial is not a choice anymore. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio, 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 radio. All right, Thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cosmic Oracle Show. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey. Thank you for giving generously to keep us on the air. Go to freedomslips.com. That's freedomslips.com. Give whatever you can, $5, $10. There's all kinds of ways you can help keeping us on the air because we are an all-volunteer station. And so thank you in advance for your generous donations and keeping us on the air. We have with us today, our second hour. The first hour went by so fast, Michele Amburgey. What's up with that? Do we go like off planet or interdimensional or something?
Obviously interdimensionally off planet. I love it.
I have a question. I was able to work my friend here. And so we have a question from one of our listeners. So if you are tuning in right now live, we are live, you can ask a question for Michele because she's an amazing certified psychic medium, an angelic channel, a master energy healer, and she's just a conscious living coach and a metaphysician and a certified hypnotherapist. And she's just what we say, she's like cosmically awesome, man. So yeah. And so we have a question from Sarah Baez, B-A-E-Z. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but she says, that's right. Like when we sleep, where does our energy go?
Well, there is no one pat answer for that. And I'm actually letting Archangel Michael come through for that. And he's saying it's really about intention. Different people do different things. Different people are on different frequencies. And so there isn't any one answer to that. He's saying, but if you wish to do something within your sleep time and use your sleep time for a particular thing, set your intention and allow yourself to do that. He's saying, and that being said, there are people that do travel because of, he's saying like soul contracts and stuff like that. Like when I sleep, I go to Jupiter. I work with the Jupiterians. I'm for some, and I don't really know why, but for some reason I'm helping the Jupiterians understand humans. And actually I'm helping them learn to understand how to speak the English language, but the human language, how to use their mouths with the human language. They look very much like us. They have kind of bigger heads, thinner bodies, and they're smaller. But it's something that I do is I have a soul contract with the people of Jupiter to do that in this lifetime. So there's things like that happen. Some people go to the astral realms and work in there. Some people go off and do dastardly deeds. Some people move within the interdimensional realms that, there's so much beyond our senses that we just don't know. And so Archangel Michael is going, I love that question. He's going, thank you, because so many people think it's one thing. And he's saying it's not, it's many, many things. And he's saying this is one thing that humanity is beginning to understand is that there are multiple dimensions. There's dimensions between the dimensions. There's different realms that are different than dimensions. And it's all happening.
It's a wonderful playground, right?
Absolutely.
We're just stuck in one playground for too long.
Yeah, this planet Earth is getting a little gnarly right now. But that's okay. We can fix it.
We can. And so, yeah, so where your energy goes, because I had a guest on a few weeks ago, and then we were talking about death, and it's kind of like, if I remember what he or she said, it was that we kind of die every night in a way. There's a part of us that lets go of the body, right? And we go somewhere. But I've heard energy still our energy, no matter where we go, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so it is. And it's, it's really just the different way that we understand it is, why we have different explanations of it.
Yeah.
And I know that seems very, very simplistic, but it really is how it is.
Well, the best answers are pretty simple. It's just the right question, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, it was funny when she asked that question, Archangel Michael wanted to say, and I was like, no, you need to give it, but he's like, where do you want to go?
Yeah, right, exactly. Don't you get like that with people with readings? It's like someone will call and say, and they'll have a question and go, oh God, where do I go with that? There's so many ways you can go with it that you have to just take a minute and it'll come to you of what the answers are and what information to give. But when
Right.
we've been doing it for such a long time, it's like, oh, such a simple question can be such a loaded question, right? Because it's like, where do I jump off with this? I only have an hour, so let's get the best work done that we can do.
Right, exactly. It's like, how far do you want to go in? But it's really cool. I've developed this protocol with my guides and angels that they show me almost like timelines. They're like strings that go
Mhm.
out from either the client or the situation or whatever. And then they show me some of them are a little bit darker, some are a little bit brighter, some are literally like vibrating, like, yes.
Mhm.
And so I've developed this wonderful communication system with my guides and angels to where I can weed through all that, right?
Right.
Because the more we learn, the more we have to work with. And it's a big old place out there.
It is. It is.
And so developing that has really helped me because I was that too. It's like, well,
Right. And it's exercising that muscle, right? That you get it down. And so let's talk about Eraku or Araku. Araku.
Oh, this is such a great story too. I was, and let me see, I was early 30s again, lot of stuff happened in those 5 years there after my divorce. I was up in Oregon working with some people that were working with ETs, and they were having ET contact. They were having contact at the home. They were having contact, with the clouds. They had ships in the clouds and all kinds of stuff. And I've always just loved them. I mean, to me, it's my star family, and that's what I call them. And I belong to many star families. I'm not just Pleiadian or Arcturian, although Arcturians are who are really, really helping me this time around. But I'm connected with all of them, and I communicate with all of them. But anyways, so they called me and we talked about it, and I had been up there the summer before, and they said, will you come and just tell us what's going on? Help us. I'm like, sure, that'd be awesome. So they flew me up there, and I stayed at this gentleman's beautiful home in the woods. I was like, oh my God, it's awesome. And the first night that we were there, I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was snowing, and the snow was spinning around the house like this. I mean, it was sideways going, but I didn't hear wind. And I'm like, I'm surrounded by trees and I'm not hearing any wind, but that snow was going sideways. And then all of a sudden, all around the room just started to go crack, 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 like really loud. And I passed out. I was up and I just went bam. And I just remember going, uh-oh. And out I went. And that's usually when there's something big going on. So the gentleman I was staying with, sun's coming up and he's pounding on the door. Get up, you got to see this. And so, got my wormies on because it was cold, and went outside, and there were 3-fingered prints on the roof. There were 3-fingered prints, like they were looking in my window. There were 3-fingered prints at the 2 doorways that came into the room. And I think we had a little visitation. So we went out to Mount Hood.
Oh, Mount Hood. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I think that was the, and so all kinds of activity out there, spent some time communicating. And at that time they were just saying, we're just watching. I was asking who came to visit the other night, and they said, your family. It was your family. I'm like, okay, that's cool. They didn't really seem to want to like really communicate a lot of stuff. I think we were getting used to each other.
Right.
And so came back that afternoon, and the gentleman I was staying with went to go pick up his 11-year-old grandson, who was super psychic. I mean, like, he had these clear blue eyes that were almost creepy. And he jumps out of the truck, he turns and looks at me, and he goes, oh, you're the Araku. And I went, what? The Araku. And I'm like, what's the Araku? And Grandpa goes, I think his name is Dylan. Dylan, get in here. You need to blah, blah, blah. So he goes running off like 11-year-olds do. And so a little bit later, I went and grabbed him. He was doing something outside. I'm like, dude, we need to talk. And I said, what is the Araku? What is that? And he was like really confused that I didn't know. I said, I don't know that word. And he goes, you're the teachers for the teachers.
Oh,
And I went, well, what does that mean? And he goes, come with me. So they had this huge dome building that they had built. They had all reflective glass and lasers and music and all kinds of stuff. And they were breaking through and they're communicating with the ETs from the space. So he goes, come in here. And so he turns all the lasers on and we've got all this stuff going on. And he goes, look at that wall right there. And so I'm looking at it and all of a sudden the wall opens up and there's all these people in there. And he goes, these are the people that are waiting for you to teach them. But they weren't all humans.
right.
Thus, the Jupiterians were part of the whole thing. And so he said, you are the teacher for the teachers. That's what you're here for. And I was like, okay. But you know what was really weird? As soon as he told me that, I understood what he was saying. It kind of left my mind. And it didn't come back until just a couple of months ago, after I've had like 3 really powerful awakening kind of experiences in the last year or so. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, Araku, got it. Now I understand what I'm supposed to do with it. So, and there's many of us. I'm not the only one. I went to go Google it. There was nothing on the internet about Araku, although there is an Araku Valley somewhere that's kind of a place where people take spiritual journeys to.
Well, that's interesting. That's not a coincidence.
Yeah. So very, very interesting. And so it's a new word. And so it's kind of cool because it's a new word that's being brought out. And I'm noticing that a few people are starting to use it.
Oh,
So I'm like, so it's bringing a new vibration. It's bringing a new vibration, a new concept onto the planet. And it's really about the new earth leaders.
right.
It's the teacher for
that's fantastic. Well, and so do you channel Araku as a medium, or is it just the information just comes through? Or
I am the Araku. So the Araku is the channel. The Araku is the portal, the channel. Yeah.
I love it. So in the background with that, with the 3 fingers, are you like a Heinz 57 kind of a ET person, or do you have certain ones that I think you talked about the Arconians, but you have certain ones that are your main group that you are a part of?
Yep. I work a lot with the Arcturians, and I was part of a group called the World Healer Conference that was down in San Diego. And we had like these amazing people that you'll never hear out in the world, but that you get this group of these people together. It was amazing. And I came walking in and I had just been learning about Arcturians and I was like, so excited. I think I'm one of them. And I walked in, there was a gentleman that was up on stage talking about the Arcturians. He turns and looks at me and he goes, welcome, sister, you finally got here. And I was like, okay. And he was like really cute. So I'm like, oh my God. And so I walk over and I sit down and then all of a sudden he looks at me again. I didn't realize until then he was channeling. And he goes, you know, you belong here. You know, you're one of us. You know, you're Arcturian, right? And I went, okay. So it answered my question.
It's a trip, isn't it? When you first say, oh my God, I'm an ET. I am an ET. I am an ET. It's like your brain, for me, when I first had that aha, it was like, after that was holy, after that, it was like,
Yeah. And we are, and really we all are. We're all made of stars. We're all made of the stars.
We are.
Yeah. And I've got a lot of Native American in me, and the Native American, they're like, of course we're from the stars.
Right.
Where else are we from?
Yeah. It just, we lost it. We lost it, and it's time to reclaim it. And you're one of those great teachers that get to help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. I'm just like, but I'm just little old me, little dorky doop walking through the world.
An aspect of yourself, right? But don't mess with me either, because I can bring down a lightning bolt that will,
Shazam. My daughter says that sometimes. It's like, Mom, you're like doodly doo, and then bam.
Exactly. And it's the same with working with psychic, with working with beings and other beings, that you have that energy and that knowingness and the expertise now after doing it so many times that sometimes when you walk to a person and they don't like you, it's because you can bust their butt, you can bust their show, you can, you know, break that control. And so you can't take it personal.
I had an experience yesterday. I had my refrigerators breaking down.
Mhm.
The ice maker's not working, and I had a repairman come, and he had come earlier, and I just, it was like we were like, he came in again, and I was like, I do not want this guy in my house. He was
Mhm.
rude and caustic, and he kept arguing with me, and finally I said, "You have to leave." He goes,
Mhm.
"What's the matter? Don't you like me?" And I said, "No." I said, "I think my light's bothering your demons."
Yes.
And he kind of was like, and he goes, well, you still have to pay me. I went, gladly. And
Oh
then
my
he
God,
had to
I
leave.
love that. What a great thing to say. My light is bothering your demons.
I
I love that.
I read it on a meme sometime on Facebook, and it just popped out of my mouth because this guy did not want me to be right, to have a say. He wanted full control, and I'm like, nope, nope,
Not in my
nope.
house, not in my
Yeah,
safe
it
place,
was
right?
weird, but
Oh
yeah,
my God, that's hilarious. I'm going to use that, you know.
please do, because I stole it from someone else.
That's fantastic. Well, let's then I wanted to, let's go on then to okay, so what's your favorite modality to use if you've mastered 22? I mean, you know, and you went after each one. I know with me it was they just kind of came to you to do, right? You weren't kind of looking for them as much as they just showed up for you. It's kind of like the who's ever guiding the big picture of all of this and our orbit, our individual orbits, that they have a group that are like they definitely have a directive of which way you want to go, and so they'll set things
Yeah.
in right in place for you so that you can just move through it.
Yeah. And I had a period of time, especially when I was doing all those energy healing modalities, they just kept appearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a gal staying with me for a while that had a bunch of the little, the Reiki. It's like, it was like, Kundalini Reiki, Golden Triangle Reiki. So they're energy modalities, but they're kind of not like mainstream stuff. And so
Right.
probably about 10 that I have are those kind of things, but they're really powerful. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they amp and they amp and they amp and they amp stuff up. But it was, and so she was there, and so we traded stuff, and I learned reconnection and matrix, and God, I can't even remember the one that you go up. Learn that one really good. It's like there's so many of them I can't remember.
Right.
You go up, you go over, you go. And so they just kept appearing. It was like, okay, 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 okay. And then finally it was like, okay, I don't need any more.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you got
got them all. And then started doing the hypnotherapy. I was on the board of the ICAs, the International Association of Clinical Hypnotherapy, for years.
yeah, I love
Um,
therapy.
Past life regression.
Have you done very many of the NEET hypnotherapy, taking people onto the ship and ooh.
You know what I started doing too? Check this out with the hypnotherapy. I started working on my doctorate, which I still haven't finished,
Oh, well, to
but
get on with it. Come on.
I'm trying. Um,
Well, give yourself a deadline and you'll make it no matter what, right?
it's like if I would stop being on TV shows and running it with I'm not going to stop doing the fun stuff. But what I did is I wanted to do research around when people reincarnate. Do we do it linearly? Like, do we do the 1800s, the 1900s, the 2000s, or can we be in the 2001 time, in the year 642 the next time, in 1010 the next time? I was trying to figure out if we go up and down timelines or
Or
if we do it linearly, like how that works. And
Mhm.
what happened was people started going off on their spaceships.
That kind of blew that all.
I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to go there instead. So
What do you
that is
call that on the timeline, right? What do you call that on the timeline?
I couldn't find it on the timeline. And so it was really cool. And so people were having these experiences. And I actually kind of gave up on that for a doctorate thesis because it wasn't working out because everybody was going with the our space brothers and sisters. So it was kind of cool. So that's how that came about.
I love that. That's
It
amazing.
was neat. And I had one gal that on doing this, she was a tiny floating little organic creature in space.
Mhm.
And she was C-shaped and she ate on this end and pooped on this end kind of a deal and floated through space. I was like, whoa.
I
So
love
we had some pretty
that.
trippy things.
Yeah, we want to put it in a box, right? We got to get rid of that conditioning, right?
Yeah, there's no
All the
boxes.
fun is out the box, and then there is no box, kind of like there is no spoon, you know?
Exactly. You don't have to bend it because it's not there.
Right, right. So do you think you're part philosopher too in all of this? Is that
Yeah.
something that's a part of you?
Absolutely. I've always been fascinated. When I was at Pasadena City College, I started, with getting my AA, but I immediately went in and wanted to study philosophy and psychology. I
Mhm,
was fascinated with Carl Jung.
mhm.
And what happened was I realized that the professors I was dealing with, and I was also then I went over to UCLA, that they were nuts. And I was like, I don't think I could grow up to be these people. I mean, I must have got the spirit lined up the real cuckoo birds for me. That wasn't where I was supposed to go. But I have always been fascinated with the mind and how the mind works and mental illness and that kind of stuff, like multiple personalities and the narcissistic personality disordered people. That stuff fascinates me.
Right.
And so philosophy goes right in with that, right?
Mhm.
All of that is in there. I love like the Greeks and all their philosophical stuff. And so it all kind of ties in together.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, it does. It's that, I don't know, the human perspective, but with the little ET sauce. I don't know.
With the little spicy ET
Right.
sauce, with the
On the
little
side.
angel sprinkles and
Yeah.
some ghosty little, over the
Right,
top.
right. Just because you can, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's super fun.
you were talking too earlier about that you just had a couple of experiences that really kind of shook your world recently.
Yes, I had about a year. It's been about a year and a half ago. So it's like it was before it was pre pandemic,
Mhm.
but not too far before. I think it was in December, right before. Everybody's talking about oneness. What is oneness? Oneness, oneness, oneness. And I just kind of went, well, I have an idea of what it is. But I also, because I'm human, I'm like, I love the oneness idea, but I want to be one with that guy. Because that guy's a bad guy and I don't want to be one with that, right? And so I wanted some clarification because that scared me a little bit. And so I went into meditation. I called all my guides and angels. And when I was doing it, they were coming in very differently than normal. They were really like, I felt the circles of the realms around, very present. Like I could see, like I'm looking out my side eyes going, holy cow. And so I asked them, I go, please explain to me what oneness is. And I kind of, I just kind of moved my inner sight back to kind of look up at this. And they all turned and looked at me and they had my face. They were me.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, all of a sudden it was just whoosh in. And they said, we're all in you. You're not calling us from outside. We're not coming from outside. We're you.
Right.
We're coming from within. You're invoking us from within. We're not coming from outside. That's oneness. And I went, oh, totally. My brain was just like, oh my God. It's like you picture it like all
Right.
bubbling up in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And it really shifted the way that I was perceiving everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy that I didn't have to be one with the scary guy that freaked me out.
Right.
Because it's a different oneness. It's in that we are all one, but it's the goodness and the purity of the soul It's not necessarily the human aspect. It's not necessarily, we don't have to be one with all the crazy human stuff,
Right.
but we're one with the souls. And that's beautiful. And that's how we can support each other. So that
Would
gave me
that
a new
be-
way of looking at it.
would that be like that original spark or that original
Sure. Yeah.
identity, whatever the source? What's your name for that?
I call it, well, as it's individuated within humans, I call it the soul.
Mhm.
But I call the oneness from which it all comes eternal loving presence.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's my word I use for it.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just a loving presence. And I
it's
try not to
so much love, right? It's like amazing how much love.
so much. And so I try not to define it. I've kind of learned to leave as much linear and boxes out of it so that it can show and share what it is, because
Mhm.
ultimately it's me, it's you, it's
Right.
everybody watching, it's you and you and you and you and you. You are that, and that's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yummy.
So when you give a reading, what would they expect? What do they have to do? Do they, need to take some classes? Do they need to wear all white? Do they need to take a shower? I'm just playing, but
Since
really.
we do it remotely, you guys don't have to take showers anymore, so that's off the table, so that's good. um No, really, I do teach some spiritual development courses. I'm really focusing on a lot more on working with Awoken TV. And also I've started doing events, these wonderful
Yeah.
online virtual events.
Hold on, I really want to get to that. I
Yeah,
really
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my main thing that I do is I do readings for people. And all you have to do is go to my website, micheleamburgey.com, and go up to services, and I have them in there. You get 30-minute or 60 minutes. And really, it's like, come as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Come as you are. Come wherever you're at, whatever level you're at. Come on and let's do it. Because when you get a reading with me, you're not just getting a psychic reading. You're getting, for one thing, all these great beings that we call in, coming up from within, and my energy healing juice is always on. And so when
Right,
you're getting
right.
a reading, you are in this massive, beautiful, amazing presence. And I do this beautiful prayer before too, where it's calling everybody in, and their guides and my guides and our guides, and the Melchizedeks and the spiritual hierarchies. And I love working with Jesus and Saint Germain and all that. We bring everybody in. We bring the dolphins and the whales, everybody in.
Right.
And you're just in this beautiful juicy energy, and then we just let it start flowing. And it's amazing. People get so much more than just a reading. They'll get healing, they'll get guidance. Some people get homework, which is
Right.
amazing. That it's like, a lot of people are like, yay, homework. I'm like, cool, because you're getting homework. And it's beautiful. Most of the people I work with do get readings kind of on a regular basis, because it's really more like therapy, because I do come at it like that, because I do have my master's degree in metaphysical therapy. And so it's like I'm trained that. And then with the coaching, with the conscious life coaching, and I have empowerment life coaching. I got a few life coaching things there. And so, and the hypnotherapy too. So I've got this whole package. So when you get a reading, you may get a reading, but if you need healing, or if you need some guidance, or, if you need something else going on, we're going to go there. And that's a lot of the reasons why my clients tend to come back kind of on regular basis, is because it begins to be kind of their therapy session too.
Right. And it changes their life very quickly.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the better.
And it's so fun.
So fun.
Yeah. We definitely have fun.
Yep. Yep. So, and about your radio, I mean, not your radio, your television.
So Awoken TV up
Awoken.
on the platform, we just switched our platform to Vimeo. So you can go to awokentv.com, and I've got my weekly show, which is kind of more like a every other weekish show until we're kind of getting it going again. And it's called Awoken Messages. And I just channel through and bring the messages that need to come through. At first I was kind of starting with doing like astrology and all that stuff, but I'm not an astrologer.
Mhm.
So I just kind of talk about the happenings at the time or the messages. It's kind of free form.
Mhm.
I also have a show that I do every other week on my YouTube channel. That's the Intergalactic Angel Messenger. And so
Well,
that's actually intergalactic messages.
that sounds great. Say that again. I want to make sure everyone goes there.
It's the Intergalactic Angel Messages.
Ooh,
And
there-
it's on YouTube. That one's on YouTube.
wow. Does it take you? Can you give a message for the show tonight? If that
Mhm.
could you do that for us? That I think that would just be
Absolutely. Matter of
awesome.
fact, I'm being shown that we are going to take a look at these wonderful cards. It's called Beyond Lemuria.
Ooh, Jenny would like those.
Yeah, I'm very much tied into the Lemurian thing.
You
For
want
her.
to join us? Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm really connected into the Lemurian thing. I did some meditation with some friends of mine that are into using these little gadgets called the selenite swords of light.
Ooh,
Isn't that beautiful?
yes.
And massively powerful healing tools. But I was doing a journey in Lemuria and found out that Adama, the high priest, was my father at one time.
Whoa.
And that he was also working with Toth, or who Toth was
yeah,
at the time
yeah,
that Lemuria was going into the mountain. And he sent me, his only son, to study with Toth, or Thoth, is
Mhm.
known as the Egyptian god Thoth. And
Right.
so I have a huge connection with that too. And actually have Kat actually reconnected me with who I was in Egypt during the time of Toth, which was a goddess called Seshat, who was the feminine version of Toth.
Right.
And so it's like, okay. So here's what I'm doing. We're going to move you over here just a wee bit. What I'm doing is I'm just asking for Spirit to move through these cards to bring whatever message needs to come to everybody who's watching.
Yay.
Something for all y'all, including Archangel Michael said, and this is also including the Sasquatch. This is love. He's saying love, love, love to the Sasquatch. So let's see what's gonna happen. Because that's a fun thing about doing this is I don't know.
Right.
Of course. Oh my God. Okay, so we have the first card that come out, and what I do is with these, it's just like I just pull 3 cards and just bring us messages. So I'm not doing like timelines or anything like that. So the first card is the infinite, and it speaks to the vastness that we live in. And it speaks to not limiting things to that finite deal, that even though we are in a finite body, even though our world appears to be finite, it is part of the infinite. It is that piece that is part of the puzzle of the infinite picture. And Archangel Michael is saying it's so important right now that we understand how vast we truly are, that humanity has been kept in this little acorn for so very long, that the acorn is now just aching to burst open. And it's time for us to understand and reunite with the infinite space, not only outside, but within. Because all that is outside is in. All the space that we see is in. And I'm being told to share with you, when I first started meditating, I was sitting on my bed and all of a sudden I felt something up against my third eye and it smelled funky. And I was like, oh my gosh. And this thing backed up and it was a moose, huge moose. I love mooses, massive horns, right? And the moose looks at me and he goes, when you realize that everything that's out there, and I'm floating in space going, okay, is in there, and I'm back in my bed and I can see space inside of me. The moose turns around and looks back over his shoulder and goes, then I'll talk to you. And he just recently came back about 2 or 3 years ago. He's like, you're getting it now. You're getting it now.
Closer.
And that's what this card speaks to, is that we are not separate from the infinite. We are the infinite. We are the creator and the created. We are the creator and we are what we created. We're everything. We're the infinite. And that's a mind bender, right? But the more we hear it, the brain begins to take it, and the brain begins to shift and begins to remap, and the neurons begin to come apart and go together to be able to understand that concept. Because the next card we have is starseed elementals.
Well, of course.
And so this speaks to the star seeds that are in human form, right? The star seeds that are here, the devas that are on this planet helping humanity, all of these beings. And we have so many true star seeds here. It's almost like there was a clarion call, hello, we need help. And they came. We all came. You came. And it's so important for us to begin to not only recognize that there is a massive shift happening on this planet in case people haven't noticed. And it isn't, the chaos always happens when there's change. And we have to not panic. We have to not be like, oh my God, the world's going to crash. It's not going to crash, because the star seeds are here. The star families are here. The beings who seeded us, the gods that seeded us here on this planet, did it for a purpose, and they did it for this time that we're coming into. There were other times too, but also this time. And it's so important that we recognize that we're here for a purpose, that we are powerful, that we are the creators, we are the created, and it's infinite. And there's no limit. And we're on this beautiful planet at this beautiful time of shift and change. And we need to take the reins, and we need to wake up, and we need to stop sleeping and stop being like, no, I'm going to sleep for 10 more minutes. It's really important that we all wake up to our gifts, not to what's happening. We don't have to wake up to the turmoil, but wake up to who we are and the gifts. And it's happening all the time. I have parents calling me going, my 8-year-old just told me, that he's from Pleiades and his name is Hoopty Pop. And it's like, I don't know what to do with him now. Send him on over.
Yeah.
So that starseed connection and that expansion is really important. And then the next card is life force energy. And again, this card speaks back to, it's so important to understand energy. It's so important to understand energy. We are life force energy. The creator, the God, whatever word we want to do, this God is creator. Eternal loving presence, the divine, is all this life force energy. And we are that too. And when we begin to understand that, we begin to realize that this infinite potential that we have, because we aren't just this. So many people are limited, where their skin stops, they stop. And that's not truth, unless you want it to be. And that's okay, because not everybody is cut out for this, and not everybody is here for this.
Exactly.
But this is a clarion call to the star seeds. Wake up. But that is what this is. And it's really important to understand energy. It's really important to understand energy at this time, because we're being bombarded with energy, for one thing, that are frequencies that we're not quite evolved into, although we're evolving very rapidly. But understanding energy and energy management, your own energy, is really important too, to carry on this mission. Ooh, the mission.
Right.
If
So
you
what's
choose
the
to accept it.
mission, Michele?
Yeah.
We're going to talk missions.
Their missions. And we have, I do want to say right now, my Arcturian guide Ryobi is here. And he is saying that there's many of you who would not be comfortable with using the word starseed. And he goes, you can just call yourself an ET if you want. It'd be right. And he's saying, don't be afraid of he's calling it interstellar connection too. He's going, there's people that watch this show that have that interstellar connection that still kind of have like, ooh, yes, I do, but and he's saying, don't be afraid, because there's so many beings that are protecting those that are here on the mission. He's laughing, the mission. that there's so much protection now. It's not like it was 20 or 30 years ago when
Right.
there was a lot of ETs roaming the planet. He's saying that it's not like that anymore because he's saying we're here, meaning the star families and the starships and stuff that are really protecting because we are going through what we're going through.
And historically, they've always been here.
Yeah, in some form or another, absolutely. But I mean, he's showing me just now, like he's going en masse. He's showing me just like layers and layers and layers and layers of multi different beings, different star systems, different galaxies. He's showing me almost like they're so close, like the ships are like bang bang. Oh, excuse me.
After you, no, after you.
No, after you, please. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Right.
But he's saying that it's and he's saying it's glorious. It's
Mhm.
glorious. He's one that I go on the ship with, and he takes me on the ship and float around, just shows me Earth. He shows me how beautiful Earth is.
Yes.
How beautiful, and he calls her the mother. This is the mother. Mother Earth is the mothership, is
Mhm.
how he puts it.
Oh, I
And
love that.
and they all love her, that she is alive and well, and that's why the star beings are here helping us. It's
Mhm.
not just us, it's Mother Earth too. So, and
Thank
he's blue.
you. Thank
He's
you.
got a
That's
big blue head. He's laughing at me.
beautiful.
But that's who channels through for the intergalactic angel messages on YouTube.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful.
I know it's all over the place, isn't it?
Can't go anywhere without them.
Thank you.
You would want to, right?
So fun. It's so fun. Yeah, thank you for letting us do that. That was really, really fun.
Oh, yeah. I was
Archangel Michael
Mhm.
is
It was meant to do, right?
he's tickled about it. He's like, oh my God, that was so cool. He's so funny. Sometimes he's almost childlike in his humility and in his
Oh,
his
yeah.
humble nature. He's like, "Oh, that was really cool." Oh, you gotta love him.
Well, I'm glad that you work with him and he's your main righteous dude, right?
Main dude. Yeah.
That you work
And
with.
I love working with Jesus. I work with redwood trees.
Mm.
I have a guide that's a redwood tree that actually came home with me from Ben Lomond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was up in there and I saw him and he was beautiful and I just said, I love you. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and he was with me. And then I went home and he was with me and he's been with me ever since.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's cool.
What does he help you with, or what does he say? Does he help you do readings, or does he just kind of hang out, or?
No, he helps me stay grounded so that I can reach more expansion.
Oh, I love that.
So when I call upon him, he comes almost like over me, almost like I'm in him.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just feel the roots just go down and connect with other trees, which is kind of cool. And then I can expand more the other way.
That was a good visual. You're really good at giving visual pictures, and so it's like, boom, I could see you right in there.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had help with the angels. Got an imagination. Oh my
There's
God.
a difference. There's real and there's imagination. You can't dream this stuff up.
No.
It,
Well,
it, mhm.
and what I've learned too, and what I've been told, Archangel Michael wants to be like this star.
Oh yeah.
No, it's me. No, but he goes,
Like, get away.
He's the one that told me that. He's the one that told me that. Oh my gosh, what was I going to say? What did you just ask me?
Archangel Michael. I don't know.
Archangel
I'm right there.
Michael.
With
We're
I always do
losing
that.
it now. We're losing it now. Oh, the imagination.
Yes.
What I was told, and this has been quite a few years ago when I was holding like these weekly spiritual development classes for years, for like 12 years. And what I was told is the imagination is the tool or the portal that spirit communicates to us.
Mm.
And we have to open up that imagination to allow that energy, that communication to begin to flow through. And so that's why a lot of times when people are first opening up, they feel like they're making it up because it feels that way.
Right,
But if
right.
you learn to trust it and use that imagination, it's actually a tool that spirit uses to
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah,
And so,
oh, that's why we kind of do this show too, is because a lot of people who listen to the show have had some of these experiences. And just by you telling your experience, they go, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up because someone else had a similar experience. I could talk those stories all day long. I know you could too. And it's like, but they're necessary because we
Yes.
are a very connective beings. It's helpful. I don't know if someone was on the show or where I got the information, but where that if you just keep it to yourself, we're made so that someone gets to mirror us back to us, and that makes it more real.
yeah. Exactly. And thank you so much for having a show like this too, Barbara Jean, because this is so important to reach people who need this information. There's
Right.
so many people that are starving for this kind of stuff. They're thirsting for this kind of connection and to hear these messages. And your show is so fascinating because you just run the gamut.
I do.
You're like just whoosh, the whole rainbow. And
Well,
it's amazing.
it's weird. I go with where spirit guides me, just like the way you live your life. It's where um I'm just in for the ride myself.
Yeah.
Like, come on, strap on. It's gonna be a wild ride, and I got you covered though. And
We're good. I spend way too much time on Facebook apparently, but there's a little meme where it has like a unicorn in a van and it just says, "Get in, don't ask questions." Like the psychedelic old van is like, just get in, don't ask
Oh, I
questions.
love that. I love
It's
that.
like, oh,
That's like that.
okay.
That's exactly like that for sure. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your show. I think that's amazing, and
Thank you.
it's just been really a pleasure getting to know you. I just knew we would have, a camaraderie that's just already built.
Yeah. When I first saw you on Kat Udaro's show, it was like, oh, I love her.
I did the
You
same
hadn't even
thing.
said a word, and I just went, uh-huh.
Well, and that's how I was going to start out the show. That's how we met, was on Third Eye Salon with Kat Udaro and his beautiful co-producers,
Linda and Jillian.
Linda and Jillian. Yeah, they're quite a beautiful, beautiful group of beings. So I think we should have them come to the Psychic Sasquatch family reunion.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that for sure.
Yes,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
get you there. I'm not going to let go of it, I don't think.
No,
For some
I'll
reason.
help you. I'll back you up. I got your back, sister.
Okay. That sounds
I am
great.
actually interviewing Kat Udaro tomorrow on his show on I almost said Third Eye Blind, Third Eye Salon.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, everybody wanted him to get interviewed.
Right.
And so he contacted me and said, would you interview me on my show?
Oh,
So
I
I'm
love
interviewing
that.
him on his show tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Oh, at 9 o'clock. Okay.
9 a.m. Yeah,
Where
it'll
can
be.
people find that?
It's Third Eye Salon. Yeah. And
9
it's a
a.m. tomorrow
page,
morning.
Facebook. And you
Now,
can also,
Pacific Standard Time.
if you can't find it, you can also go to Soulful Living Tribe. And that's my Facebook group. And it'll be streaming in there
Oh,
too.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So we're making a little
We
happy
are.
party here with
Right.
all of us.
Well, and my friend Jan, who's visiting, she says when she comes to Southern California, she's making a love loop. Her love loop
It is
is where
love loop.
It was
love
a
it.
pleasure listening to you this evening.
Oh, thank you.
Sharing. I have a special love for Archangel Michael too. And I was recently down in San Miguel de Allende, which is their patron saint is Archangel Michael. So he was all over the place.
He's
I have a
so
great
amazing.
to show you. It's in my phone though.
Oh, I love it.
We love him. The one I've got a great one.
And
Oh,
he's
that's
a
cool. I'd love to see it.
sculptor artist, right, Jen?
Yes.
It's a different
Oh, it
artist,
is. All
yeah.
right. Oh,
So fun.
it
And
is.
I've got a lot of friends that are over in England down in the Pig's Trotter where there's the Archangel Michael is all over there and the
Quite
tool.
the ley line with
Yep.
with Glastonbury.
Yep.
Have
Glastonbury.
you spent much time there in Avebury and
No. I was in England about 10 years ago and spent time up north in Manchester and Wales.
You
And
are so there though. You are so there.
I've been there. I've lived there. I've done ceremony in that circle. I know I have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gonna show it.
Oh,
right.
cute. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh.
Can you see it okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
Matter of
talk
fact,
to
it looks like
me. There it is.
rainbows.
Wait, so talk, Jenny, and then we'll
Okay,
take.
this is this incredible like life-size big sculpture that I saw and
Of Archangel
yeah,
Michael.
Archangel Michael.
Wow.
In the
Oh
patron
my
saint.
God.
That's
That's
so cool.
so beautiful.
It's really pretty. You can't, this doesn't do good justice.
I love him.
Well, I like your selenite sword.
I know. Isn't that something else?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa,
yeah.
that was like,
Yeah, that
wowee.
is really
This
amazing.
has got 420 crushed crystals. It's got a vial in it with drops of 40 different drops of water from sacred sites all around the world.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
wrapped with angelic language, emerald tablets, pictures of the masters and the archangels. I mean, this thing is a powerhouse. And it's got a
Yeah.
Lemurian at the end and selenite here.
That's
There's-
just absolutely gorgeous.
There's one
Where
man
can we
in
get one?
Colorado that makes it.
Where can we get one? The girls are shopping. All right.
His name is Tom Leder, Ledder. He's in Colorado, and he's the only one who makes them.
They're gorgeous. Just absolutely.
I went crazy and spent like thousands of dollars on them.
Well, you're worth it.
I
It's
couldn't
worth
pay
it.
rent for a year, but I
Oh,
had
well,
my
it's worth it. Well, thanks again, Michele, for coming on. And I want to thank everyone for joining us on the Cosmic Oracle Show this evening. And make sure you check her out, get a reading from her, check out her show. And you can reach Michele at
MicheleAmburgey.com, MicheleAM is a man, B is in boy, URGEY.
all right.
.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for
Ooh.
tuning in. Next week, I am having on the show two wonderful beings. They're Guru Tej and my new friend, Brad Peterson. We're going to be talking about conscious business.
Ooh,
Ooh, how's that, huh?
we need
It's
to be
the new
conscious.
way. Conscious business development. CBD, so it's short for CBD, but it's conscious business development. You will love these guys. They have some tremendous stories and quite some experiences that we're going to share with everyone. So go out and have an amazing week. And I'm sending my love out to everyone. And just enjoy this amazing, beautiful springtime that we have together here. And just love one another, be kind to one another, and have some fun. Let's celebrate here. Let's not get so serious. We're so serious sometimes. And what happens when you get serious is that the vibration goes down. You know, some of those people, you're having a really good time and they enter the room. It's like the rain on the parade, And so just, if they're there, just say, I gotta go, see you later. I got things to do, people to see. I'm gonna keep my vibration up. And you'll learn also about vibration, where that you can keep your vibration with a group like that and keep your vibration steady and stable as well. But sometimes it's just too much work. You just want to hang out with people who are at your vibration. Right, Michele?
Totally. But we love them all.
Yes, exactly. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks Revolution Radio for keeping us on. This is our 6th year. We'll be here next Friday, every Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And you can, just just be kind and loving to one another. And I don't know, I'm in a celebration dancing mood. I'm going to be going and having some champagne and lemon cake with my friend on her 70th birthday. So I hope you do something wonderful this weekend and have some adventure. That's what I'm getting. Let's have some adventure. Let's have some stories to tell. I love that. And that's what we do here on the show is we have these amazing guests like Michele come tell their life stories, their adventures, and we see how much we are alike and connected than different. Okay, that's it. That's the show. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye.